So friends, an authoritative voice just entered the fray regarding Donald Trump's attempts to make Kash Patel, director of the FBI, and Tulsi Gabbard, director of national intelligence. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, William Webster is the only person who served as both director of the FBI and director of the CIA. And as extraordinary as that is, that really only scratches the surface of Mr. Webster's qualifications to weigh in on Trump nominees like Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard. Let's start with the new reporting. This from Politico. Headline, former FBI and CIA head prods Senate to reject Patel Gabbard. And that article begins, a former head of the FBI and CIA is raising objections over whether Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard, President-elect Donald Trump's picks to be director of the FBI and national intelligence, respectively, are qualified to serve in the cabinet. In a letter to senators on Thursday, William Webster, the only person to lead both the FBI and CIA, wrote that neither nominee meets the demands of top intelligence jobs. Webster, who is 100 years old, praised Patel's patriotism, but wrote that Patel's allegiance to Trump was concerning. Quote, his record of executing the president's directives suggests a loyalty to individuals rather than the rule of law, a dangerous precedent for an agency tasked with impartial enforcement of justice, he said. When it came to Gabbard, Webster wrote that her profound lack of intelligence experience stood in contrast to the seasoned leadership needed for the role. Quote, effective management of our intelligence community requires unparalleled expertise to navigate the complexities of global threats and to maintain the trust of allied nations, he wrote. Without that trust, our ability to safeguard sensitive secrets and collaborate internationally is severely diminished. Trump's transition team did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Webster was appointed FBI director in 1978 by President Jimmy Carter and remained director under President Ronald Reagan until 1987. Reagan tapped him to be head of the CIA until 1991 under President George H.W. Bush. And friends, here is perhaps the most pointed and ominous warning from William Webster. Quote, I urge you, he wrote to the senators, I urge you to weigh the critical importance of nonpartisan leadership and experience, the safety of the American people, and your own families depends on it. So friends, heading up both the FBI and the CIA gives you some pretty darned impressive credentials on both the law enforcement and intel fronts. And that alone means Mr. Webster is somebody that the senators should be listening to. But Mr. Webster held other positions before heading up the FBI and the CIA, and I want to talk about 3 of those positions because those 3 positions make it absolutely clear that Mr. Webster has an incredibly deep well of experience with the FBI from multiple perspectives. Those 3 positions are: 1, he was the United States Attorney in Missouri. What did he have to do as a presidentially appointed U.S. attorney, and as you heard, he was appointed by both Democrat presidents and Republican presidents. What did he have to do as U.S. attorney? He had to make prosecutorial decisions based on the investigative work of the FBI. Was it up to par? Was there sufficient evidence? Were these investigations run professionally, lawfully, constitutionally? So he got to make prosecutorial decisions based on FBI investigations. That gives you an important perspective into the work of the FBI and its special agents. 2, he went on to become a federal trial court judge. In that capacity, he presided over cases where FBI investigations resulted in indictments, prosecutions, trials. And so what Mr. Webster, then Judge Webster, had an opportunity to do was preside over cases and make determinations like the credibility of a testifying FBI special agent, for example, in motions hearings. That's another slightly different but equally important perspective that Judge Webster had of the FBI's work. After that, he went on to become a federal appeals court judge. So then he was in a position to handle cases on appeal where the FBI had done the investigation. It resulted in a prosecution and a conviction. That conviction was appealed. And to the extent there were appellate issues involving the FBI's investigative work or the testimony of FBI special agents, he got to see that from a third perspective as an appellate court judge. And then, of course, he went on to be the director of the FBI, and he saw the whole shebang. I think shebang is a legal term. So to say that William Webster has an extraordinarily deep well of experience and familiarity, exposure to all things FBI is an understatement. So when he says things like, Senators, neither Kash Patel on the law enforcement side, nor Tulsi Gabbard on the intel side, where he moved into the intel arena as director of the CIA, neither of them have what it takes. And he goes on with that last sentence, which I want to read again, and I will end on for emphasis. Mr. Webster said, I urge you to weigh the critical importance of nonpartisan leadership and experience, the safety of the American people, and, he tells the senators, your own families, depends on it. Important words, searing words, an ominous warning. And let's hope the United States senators take those warnings and those words deadly seriously, because William Webster knows whereof he speaks. And let's hope that enough senators vote against the nomination of Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard. Because justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.